we are here with an absolute legend, the co-creator of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mr. Kevin Eastman.
Yay!
How's it going? How's it going, Kevin?
It's actually going awesome. I'm having the best time here in Troy, Michigan, with all these wonderful fans and making me feel right at home. And I'm super spoiled and happy to be here and happy to be talking to you.
It's great to have you here in Michigan. All right, you have to tell us about Mirage Studios and how this whole thing got started.
Sure. Mirage Studios was a studio that Peter and I formed, and we called it a Mirage because it wasn't really a studio per se. It was our living room, so it was kind of a little joke between he and I. And then we would come up with ideas, drawings and stuff, and we'd try to sell them to other companies to make a living doing comic books. And late one night, I had a silly idea that if Bruce Lee was an animal, what would be the silliest animal? So fast-moving martial artist, slow-moving turtle. And so I did a little drawing, and I called it a Ninja Turtle. And we brainstormed the idea back and forth and came up with a whole story that tells how they were born and how they became the Ninja Turtles, and that was back in 1983.
Who would you say has had the biggest influence on your career?
Oh, that's a great question, and that's an easy answer too, because it's an artist named Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby was an artist that was, along with Stan Lee, created a lot of the Marvel universe. We know like Captain America and the Hulk and Spider-Man and so many of those awesome characters. And what was great, because I was a huge fan of Jack Kirby and inspired by him to draw, and so was Peter. So when Peter and I met, we both shared a mutual love and appreciation for Jack. So he was our inspiration.
I know it's tough to answer who your favorite turtle is, but what's your favorite generation of turtle?
Well, I have to go right back to the one that Peter and I did, the first generation of the Turtles, because that was really the foundation that all the Turtles stories, the different time periods over the 36 years we've been doing it, are all based on these, the first 15 issues that Peter and I did together. That's where we created characters like April O'Neil and Casey Jones and Baxter Stockman and the Shredder and those. So I would say first generation Turtles will always be my favorite.
Why did it take so long for fan favorites Bebop and Rocksteady to make it into the films?
It was tricky because we loved them as characters, and back in the old days of movies, a lot of times the characters would be like guys in rubber suits, that they'd wear, and they were really hard to make back then. And so around the time that we could use special effects to make them, we didn't have a chance to make a Turtle movie starring those characters until 2016. So it just took a while for us to have technology catch up with the ability to make those characters come to life like we remember them.
Is it true that they originally wanted comedians
Oh, that's it. His Gallagher, yep.
Gallagher, Sam Kinison, Bobcat Goldthwait, and Billy Crystal to play the Turtles in the first movie?
That was before we started working on the very first movie with Jim Henson and director Steve Barron and all those super talented people. Todd Langdon was the writer. We were first approached by a group that wanted to fund a much lower budget Turtle movie, and it was based on that they would have all those comedians just paint their face green and put on a mask and then have this turtle shell on. And we thought that was a little too silly, so we said no thank you, but no thank you. And luckily we did, because then we got to work with Jim Henson on the next movie. So that is true.
That would have been really bizarre.
I agree, that would have been really, really bizarre.
I heard the idea for Shredder came in an unusual way. Is that true?
Yes, the idea came for Shredder. I'm going to tell you the story.
Yeah.
Okay. The idea for Shredder came from doing dishes. And what's funny is that here's how it happened. Pete and I were working out the origin of the Turtles. So we were, what about this idea? What about this idea? And Peter's wife made dinner one night, and to thank her, Peter and I wanted to do the dishes. So he was washing and I was drying. And this night there was, have you ever seen, it's called a cheese grater. And it's kind of rectangular, silver, metal. And I was drying the inside of this cheese grater, and so it had these little grating things here. And I said, wouldn't it be crazy if a character had these as a weapon? Because he'd go, and he could shred your skin off. And we thought that was really scary, like it'd make a good scary bad guy. So that's where we came up with the name Shredder. And he was invented, so Shredder was invented by doing dishes.
Wow, who would have thought?
Not us. That's the fun part, is like you never know where good ideas, even as crazy as they sound, if it makes you laugh and you think they're interesting, and I guess, if it makes you laugh, then there's something, something positive in that. That's nice.
Is it true that Uncle Phil from the Fresh Prince was the voice of Shredder at one point? Yes,
it was. It was. His name is an actor named James Avery, and he was part of the original cast of Rob Paulson, Townsend Coleman, Cam Kennedy, and a few other guys, but James Avery, we needed a really scary voice for Shredder, and he had this wonderful the guy that did Darth Vader, the name just went out of my head. But he had a really scary, deep voice, so he was perfect for a big bad guy.
Yeah, he's my favorite Star Wars character.
Oh, you like Darth Vader? Oh, that's awesome.
That should definitely be a question on Jeopardy someday.
Well, it's funny, and you bring up a really funny point, because my grandmother, who didn't completely understand what I did, but she was happy that I was making a living drawing comic books. And so I remember she called my mom one night, and this is going back a long time, maybe 25 years ago, and she was so excited because she knew I was having success in my career because the Turtles were a question on Jeopardy, and it was like, is this the name of a real superhero team? And so we thought that was pretty funny. So she knew we were okay. We were on Jeopardy.
You have made appearances in a couple of trauma films.
Yes.
Have you had the chance to say hi to Lloyd Kaufman since you've been here?
I have not, and I have not seen him in a number of years. I would usually see him at San Diego Comic-Con, or I'd see him around, but it's been a long time since I've seen him. But I definitely want to go by and see Lloyd, because he cracks me up. And a funny anecdote is that there's a director named, I was doing some work for Lloyd because I thought his films were really funny, The Toxic Avenger. And a guy named James Gunn, who was working for Lloyd at the time, went on to direct Guardians of the Galaxy. So, it doesn't matter where you start. If you want to follow your dreams, you need to fight hard and do that. But that's a funny anecdote.
The Ninja Turtles are known for having some really cool toys and collectibles. But what's the strangest thing a fan has asked you to sign?
Oh goodness, there's so many silly things. I guess I'd go with the silliest would be just tattoos. Like a lot of people get tattoos these days. Like I have tattoos, I wanted them. But sometimes somebody will have the Turtles tattooed on their arm, and then they'll ask me to sign their arm, and then they'll go to a tattoo place and have it tattooed on them. So it's kind of funny to think of my name tattooed on someone for life. But it's a funny thing and a neat thing at the same time.
All right, Kevin, last question, and we will let you get back to your fans. What's the best advice you would give to a young creator trying to make it in the comic business?
Well, I think it's and I say this to a lot of our young fans, and if you like comic books, like writing or drawing, if you like sports, like baseball and soccer, or if you like music, any of those kinds of things, it just takes time and dedication in that. Try to spend time working on whatever you love. If it's sports, music, or drawing, Spend a little bit of time on it every day, and you'll continue to get better at it. And then also it's perseverance. Don't let anybody else influence what they think you should do. If you love it and you want to do it, you'll dedicate yourself to work hard to do it, and you'll get success by that way. So hard work and dedication.
That's great advice. Thanks so much to Mr. Eastman for taking the time to chat today. And thanks for the cool sketches. It's been an absolute blast talking to you, and we look forward to seeing you again down the road.
Thank you very much. I would like that.
Can we end this interview with a big cowabunga?
That's always my favorite.
On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
Cowabunga! High five! Yay! Good job. That was fun.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.